and welcome to Rising. We've got a great show for you today. Michael Schellenberger is here in studio to let us know about his latest bombshell reporting, so we're very excited about that. And we've got a lot of news to get to. Take it away, Brianna.
All right. Well, up first, a newly public Department of Justice search warrant finds Special Prosecutor Jack Smith sought Twitter data on all lists of Twitter users who have favorited or retweeted tweets posted by former President Donald Trump in his investigation into the president for allegedly trying to overturn the 2020 election. In the filing, Smith also asked for warrants to information on Trump's geolocation, private messages, search history, and contact information.
The former president has yet to comment on this development, but he did take to Truth Social this morning to air some grievances with MSNBC. MSDNC users free government-approved airwaves, and yet it is nothing but a 24-hour hit job on Donald J. Trump and the Republican Party for purposes of election interference. It is the world's biggest political contribution to the radical left. Democrats, who, by the way, are destroying our country, our so-called government, should come down hard on them, make them pay for their illegal political activity. Much more to come. Watch. Trump was met with a mixture of cheers and boos during an appearance on the field during the Palmetto Bowl last week. The Real Clear Politics average of general election polling finds Trump leading President Biden by 2 points in the overall matchup. Obviously, what really matters is the swing states, where he is also destroying Biden right now, although I can't wait to see new polling on that, because I think it's been a few weeks at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious what you make of this trying to get a search warrant for this Twitter data. The data that pertains to, say, Trump's whereabouts, I can see an argument as to why that might have something to do with intentionality or what claims are being made about the who, where, what, and when of January 6th. That kind of information, cell phone tower pinging, is used to trace defendants in all kinds of other cases. I have to hear the argument, but that seems less attenuated from what he's actually being charged with. Why there's an inquiry into lists of people who interacted with the president's tweet, that is feeling a lot more 1984 to me.
Very Orwellian, which, by the way, has to be a lot of people. I mean, I think he was like the most followed account or something or it was way up there.
He was way up there.
Massive engagement. Yeah, I don't know what that feels like very much spying on Americans, possibly for the purposes of what? Of chilling political speech, of punishing people for engaging with Donald Trump? I mean, keep in mind, and this is part of what we're talking about with Michael Schellenberger today, is the pervasive efforts by so-called misinformation cops to monitor, to track, and then to have moderated edgy, contrarian political speech that they don't like, all based on their belief that, for all the accusations of Trump, denying the outcome of the election, these people, their whole world orbits around the idea that Hillary Clinton should have been the legitimate winner of the 2016 election and would have, if not for harmful Russian speech on the platforms, primarily on Facebook. That is their cardinal belief. It is utterly it's been contradicted now over and over again by sober news stories that eventually were able to put in context that the amount of Russian yes, there were Russian bots, and yes, they were sending it, but it was not. It was a drop in the bucket. There's no way it was narrowly tailored, targeted enough to the swing voters in a couple states. It's not. It's fanciful now to describe that as the outcome, but that is their belief.
This isn't even about that. This is ostensibly about election. This is about Trump, Donald Trump overturning the election, right? This isn't about the abstraction of what Russian bots were able to, how Russian bots were able to influence him. And the other thing about this is that unless they're talking about deleted tweets, that information is public.
Right.
You can
they want draft tweet. They want things that maybe he started to say and then did not actually tweet.
But list of Twitter users who have favorited or retweeted tweets posted by the former president. I mean, are you just too lazy to go to the tweet and open it up and just take a list of all of the people who are?
And don't you worry? I've raised these concerns, and we have somewhat different perspectives on some of it, and that's fair. And they're bringing their prosecution, and they'll try to prove it. But this is the fear that part of the Jack Smith indictment versus like the Georgia indictment there is a speech component of it that is focused on when you're looking for his, because I'm sorry, the things he tweeted, the things he said about the election, they could be wrong, they could be harmful, they could be something you would impeach and remove him as president for. But they're not. It can't be criminal offense unless you're finding an actual plot to do something criminal. Just his provocative messaging that he was the winner that's not illegal.
Yeah, and I do think it's a kind of misstep from an optics perspective as well. These cases just really aren't or shouldn't be about what happened on 1/6. 1/6 is a misnomer. It really is the scheme that's being alleged is the 2 weeks preceding it and the falsification of the promulgation of these fake slates to electors and all of that. I want to ask you also what you make of Donald Trump's characterization of MSDNC as being a 24-hour hit piece generator on Donald Trump. I don't think that's untrue, but is that really not just a feature of our bifurcated two-party media system? Fox does what Fox does, MSNBC does what MSNBC, sorry, no, I can't say it. MSDNC does. I mean, what's the grievance here, really?
That's just pointless complaining. Right. Fox is a 24-hour commercial for generally Republican causes. Although Trump is not very happy with Fox these days either, because they do air some criticisms of him, which he doesn't like very much. You're welcome to complain about these cable channels. You can complain all you want about MSNBC. We do. We complain about CNN. I think they put out some bad ideas, but that's their right to do that. We don't. His idea that the government should come after them, again, I just don't even take it seriously. Maybe that's a mistake to not take it seriously because it's just kind of Trump bloviating, but it's very bad. That's exactly not what we want, is the government coming after people for speech. And in fact, a government, and this is, I think, very important and something conservatives, if they're hearing what Trump is saying, have to get this through their head. If you empower a government bureaucracy to go after, with the idea that it's going to punish MSNBC for bad or anti-conservative speech, what it's actually going to do is harass Fox, because the actual bureaucrats will be more sympathetic to MSNBC every time. So don't do that.
I think
bad
that's
idea.
fair. And I also like your point that Fox News will air some critique of Donald Trump. It will air his opponents in the Republican primary. There is, in fact, a Republican primary. The same can't be true on the Democratic side of the aisle. Marianne Williamson's, I believe he's now her campaign manager, tweeted out last night, Chris Christie, Mike Pence, and Nikki Haley have all had CNN town halls this cycle. Marianne Williamson deserves to have one as well. Like, that is kind of an incredible thing. As much as Donald Trump even is characterizing MSNBC as MSDNC, they are willing to have, maybe it's just never Trump Republicans, but they also had Mike Pence and Nikki Haley have CNN town halls before they will have the leading challenger to the Democratic candidate on the liberal channel.
Yeah, I don't know if they don't want to admit that there are people running within the Democratic coalition against Biden, even at a time where so many Democratic voters are dissatisfied with Biden, say they want an alternative, think he's too old to run. But you're right that they're just not, they're not speaking to those candidates with anywhere near the level of seriousness and attention that they are platforming the other Republican candidates, as is Fox. But
well, that's what gets you labeled MSDNC. Stick around with us. We'll have more Rising right after this.